Looking to stay ahead in the Brisbane, Logan and Gold Coast property market? Want to get local insights from someone who knows this community inside and out? Then you've come to the right place. I'm Benjamin Waite and welcome to the LJ Hooker Property Collective podcast, where we'll be diving into everything you need to know about the real estate right here in our beautiful region. Welcome to LJ Hooker Property Collective podcast. Today, very topical. Everybody talks about this, don't they, Chris?
Absolutely. Number one topic, management fees. What are they? What are they for? Why do we charge them? Are they worth it? What do you get for your money? All of the above. So we thought we might unpack it for everybody. Not just our management fees, but more collectively around what they are and what they do and why they're what kind of some typical costs are. We're going to unpack all of that. Right.
So we'll look at first, I suppose, what's a management fee?
Well, a management fee is a commission that we collect when the tenant pays rent.
So we don't do it for free, Chris, is what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
No, unfortunately not. I'd love to. But we don't do it for free.
As a business owner, I don't want you. We can't. We've got to put food on the table too.
Absolutely, got to pay me. Got to turn the lights on. We've got to do all those things.
No, yeah, we jest obviously, but no free lunch unfortunately. But it's what we charge to do the work that we do. Yeah,
and a lot of people think that we're overpaid for what we do. You know, typical real estate agent, they get all this money and they're well overpaid. All I see them ever doing is having coffees down the shop. Not true. Definitely not true. We work our backsides off for our clients, and the modest fee that we do get is well and truly worth the time and effort we put into each individual property.
So I just want to maybe just unpack a little bit about the management fee, and a typical management fee in the industry would range anywhere from
around 6 to 12%, depending on what sort of agencies looking after it.
And what kind of asset it is.
Yes,
and because you've obviously got commercial as well, and you've got holiday letting, and there's a whole different raft of stuff out there.
And you've got price range differences which affect, I guess the bottom line of what actually comes in the door for a real estate office. So there's a lot of factors that are involved. Experience as well. Obviously anyone can manage a property if they wanted to, on their own, but, having the knowledge and experience to get you out of trouble when you're in trouble, that's got to be worth the cost.
Yep.
So basically that management fees pays for the expertise that we have to help you with your assets.
And, 6% and 12%, they sound like big figures, right? They sound big, but I just want to put into context, right? So over a 12-year period, the 6-7% on an average $700 a week property.
Well, I don't know about a 12-year period, Ben.
Did I say 12 months?
Maybe a 12-month period. It's probably
sorry.
a little bit easier for me to work out.
12. Yeah. What would we would be getting from a revenue perspective? Like we've obviously got costs around that, but what would we kind of from a revenue perspective get?
Yeah, $2,000 to $2,500, maybe $3,000 if the property's a bigger property.
That is a great property if we're getting $3,000.
Yeah.
Sometimes under $2,000, sometimes $1,600. So we're talking, for all of the work that we're doing for you, and I'm not just talking about us, I'm talking about like property managers as an industry. We're getting back from you between $1,500 and $2,500. That's it for the whole year.
That's right.
That's it.
Which is tax deductible.
Yeah. So it's not when we're looking at, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of legal stuff, there's a lot of compliance. We're kind of protecting the property, we're protecting the landlord. So, and for it to be, $2,000, it's not a big cost.
Not at all.
Not a big cost.
Not at all. And you think about, it's not just Bent and I working on the property as well. There's property managers, there's leasing consultant, there's admin staff. There's a lot that goes into an actual management of one singular property. I had my own business for a period of time doing property management, and what the break-even point is not where you think it is.
And that's revenue, right? There's no profit. The profit is less than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, profit's an ugly word in property management.
Yes.
So it's about...
Geez, why do we do it?
Oh, we're suckers, Ben. We really are.
No,
suckers.
we and why a lot of other people do it, but I can only speak for us. But property is a great vehicle for wealth creation.
Absolutely, and it's
probably the best vehicle for wealth creation that you can get some taxable claims out of as well. It's
tangible. You can see it.
Absolutely.
It's bricks and mortar. It's not going anywhere.
property.
It's not as liquid or
No.
as dynamic as the share market.
Exactly. And you look at property trends, it always keeps going up. It always keeps going up. So having long-term property and managing it.
Not financial planners, by the way.
No, we're not. We do not give financial advice.
Disclaimer alert. Disclaimer alert.
Having an investment property takes a lot of your time away, but we're lucky for a small fee that we've just said could be $1,600 to $2,500. That takes all the pressure off you. You don't have to do anything with that property if you don't want to. We'll completely manage it for that price, or you can be as heavily involved as you want and make all the decisions. It's up to you. But how that vehicle is managed, there's got to be some fees attached to it. And as I said, those fees go a long way to achieve great results for our owners.
Yeah. So, what does the management fee typically encapsulate?
Yeah, I guess the day-to-day efforts that we put in to managing the properties. So, paying invoices, maintenance, inspections, routine inspections, attending to tenant inquiries.
Entry reports.
Entry reports are included.
Exit
reports are included.
Bond.
Yeah, bond lodgements. There's quite a bit that goes into that. It's not just we're collecting the rent and taking a cut of the rent. It's not all that at all. There's a absolute fair point of what goes into it. We actually sat down prior to Christmas and analysed how many tasks we actually do in a day-to-day for the properties. And not every task is every day, as you know, Ben. But I think we came up with about 570 individual tasks
For one property
throughout the year.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously no one person can do that effectively. No. But yeah, it is a mountain of little tasks. And it can take a landlord to, be a little bit reluctant to spend some money, which then can make those tasks a lot bigger than they probably need to be. It can take a tenant who is maybe not the right tenant or the right fit, can make those tasks a lot bigger than they need to be. So being proactive around a lot of that stuff and, kind of understanding where those bottlenecks are or where those future red flags will be, I think is important, isn't it?
Yeah, having a property manager that understands your goals and can effectively translate that into the plan for the property is a big thing in how we get around those making little tasks bigger. If everything was a little task, it'd be fantastic. We'd have more time to do more little tasks. But when we've got big tasks like choosing the wrong tenant, and I often talk to owners that come to us from other agents where they've put the wrong tenant in and they want help to clean the mess up. And that's something we do as well.
Like going to tribunal, going to QCAT, insurance claims.
Absolutely. Just trying to track down the tenant for arrears payments and things like that from takeovers. So there's a lot that goes into the actual management fee for the property.
Yeah. We get asked a lot, can you move on your management fee? Obviously, that's kind of, a lot of people are dropping their management fees and so on. What's the risk of going with the lowest management fee? Is getting what you're paying for, the age-old, the adage, is that true within this industry?
Definitely. It's probably one of the ones that screams the loudest in getting what you pay for, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of mistakes made by agents that don't know what they're doing. And agents that don't know what they're doing will often charge a cheaper fee just to win your business and hope everything goes well. If we all lived on hopes and dreams, it'd be great. Having a great plan in place at the start of a client relationship that I discuss with our clients, making sure we've ticked all the boxes in their goals and making sure the criteria is met on all those steps is a big part of what we do. And some of those cheaper agents, they won't do those things. It'll just be a hit and hope.
I think also maybe to your point is that you said that there was 571 steps.
Yeah.
They'll be cutting some of those steps out.
Absolutely.
Surely.
Absolutely. It's not maintainable to run on a cheaper fee and still achieve those steps. And those 571 steps are each year of the property. So obviously each year it compounds. If they haven't done all 571 steps that we've identified, there's going to be, say, 100 each year. And next year there'll be 200 and 300 and 400. Next thing you know, your property's out of control. And that's where you normally look for a different solution. And a lot of the owners that we talk to in that position are happy to pay our fee. You know, we're not by all means the cheapest or the dearest in the market.
No.
I think we offer a fair value. But what we do best is making sure those steps are hit every time, every year, to make sure that goal is reached for you.
So if you're just a really quick, and again, this podcast is not just about selling our services. We really want to kind of provide some advice to everybody out there. If there's a landlord out there and they're interviewing a couple of different landlord or property management agencies, and what are some of the red flags or some of the questions that they probably should be asking in those to help interview somebody, and around, because I think we'll do a podcast around that alone, but just around management fees and how is the price going to correlate to the service? What kind of questions can a landlord ask?
Yeah, inspections is a big one. How many inspections a year are you doing? When are you doing those inspections? What are your, I guess, proactive points of difference that you're going to help me maintain my property to a great condition? And also then communicate with my tenants and communicate back to me, more importantly, as a client, how you're going to achieve those things throughout the tenancy and throughout our relationship that we have with our client. That's a really big one.
So the communication flow, the documentation around the communication flow, backing
Yes.
up that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. What access they've got to the information that we collect, making sure that you understand that information, working together with a property management team that can actually explain what we're looking at. It's all well and true, good to throw a graph at you, but unless you know what that graph means and what you can get out of it and how we improve those points of difference, it doesn't mean anything. So having the expertise around that knowledge is a big plus.
And I think if we kind of put it into real terms, some guy might come in at 5%, and another guy might be at 7%. The real dollar difference would be maybe $200 over a 12-month period.
Absolutely, it's
$200.
Yeah.
So if you're cutting a corner and trying to save $200, what could that end up? And then you go with somebody to save $200 a year, but you're going with somebody who's going to be cutting corners or don't know what they're doing.
Yep.
That could be a massive impact on you some costs down the road.
Absolutely. I've seen it happen through a lot of takeovers that we've done. Is something escalates and it escalates, and you got to think every day that something's missed or a payment's not made or so forth, that's affecting that business investment property, and it soon balloons. Like most of our properties are $100 a day in rent or thereabouts. So if you've got a tenant that's not paying a rent for 7 days, that's $700. What steps are they going to do in their shortcutted business to get back that $700 for you? Are they just going to say, oh, insurance will cover it? Or they got some proactive steps that are going to be in place to make sure it doesn't get to that point?
Or it might be that the tenant, that you haven't maintained something, so a pool fence or a deck, and they fall through the deck, right? Like we've seen that stuff.
Well, I haven't seen it personally, thank goodness.
No,
but there are case studies out there from the ROQ where that sort of thing has happened.
Tens of thousands of dollars. So you've saved yourself $200 over maybe, what's that? You might save yourself $600 in a 3-year period, but it might end up costing you, tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And more in renovations or liability.
Yeah,
all that
liability
kind of
is
stuff.
a big one. Yeah. And when you equate that back, I had one the other day where it was a low rental value property. We put the same effort into those properties as we do our high value properties as well, but somebody chose a different agent for the sake of $2 a week. And I know that agent that picked up that business, and I know they haven't got those steps in place. So I'll be in contact with that owner, and over a period of time, I'm sure I'll have another conversation with him about spending the extra $2, less than 2 7-Eleven $1 coffees. And I'll have a further conversation with that owner down the track, and hopefully, things go well. But, more often than not, it's a phone call of, Chris, help me.
Yep. Yeah, I think putting it into real terms around, you're saving $200 to $250 a year for, really risking your asset. I just, that blows my mind all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest with you, if someone offered better value and could explain the steps and, does the certain things that we do for the same price and you're happy with them, go with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, beware.
Yep.
You do get what you pay for.
So, look, I hope that unpacks a little bit about kind of management fee and what it is and why you pay it and why we charge it. I think that was a great point you mentioned around, articulating that there is 540 steps in managing.
571 it was.
Was it 571? Gee whiz. 571 steps in managing a property on an ongoing basis. That's a mountain of work. So I think we do okay. I think we do okay for our clients there. Look, property management is more just about collecting rent, as we've discussed. It's about protecting your investment and making sure that it's working for you, and we're protecting any future problems that might arise before and cut it off at the pass before they become a problem. If you're unsure whether your current setup is delivering the best results, Chris is definitely the guy to have a chat to. Whether you're one of our clients or whether you are definitely out there in the market and want to know a little bit more about Chris and LJ Hooker Property Collective and how we can help you. Chris's details in the show notes below. More than happy to help. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks again, Ben.
Thanks for listening.